This is Jerry Kassar, the state chairman of the New York State Conservative Party. Welcome you to our most recent edition of our regular podcast, Patriots Podium. Our podcast, which feature political leaders, elected officials, public policy experts, and civic leaders, hope to provide the public with an informative program on a variety of topics. Today, I'm very pleased to be joined by Gonzalo Duran. Gonzalo's experience, background, and current activities reflect the expanding nature of the Conservative Party and the conservative movement in downstate New York, particularly in New York City. A former Marine, Gonzalo founded the veterans organization known nationally as Devil Dog. Gonzalo is the vice chairman of the Bronx Conservative Party, and you're a candidate for Congress too, if I remember correctly. Gonzalo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you for having me.
Well, let's get right to it. I gave a little bit of a thumb scale sketch of your background and activities, but could you give our audience some additional details about how you came about where you are now and your experience and background?
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Thank you for the warm introduction as well. So I am a former United States Marine Sergeant, Iraq veteran. I'm currently the Chief Executive Officer for Devil Dog USA Incorporated, which is a veteran nonprofit helping veterans reintegrate back into the community. I am a chaplain. I am a television host as well as a journalist, and I am, as you stated, the Vice Chairman for the Bronx County Conservative Party, the District Leader for the 79th Assembly District, and I'm currently running for Congressional District 15 in the Bronx. So that encompasses who I am and what am I doing at the moment.
Maybe I don't want to be too personal, but you're a young guy. How old are you?
I'm 38. I'm not that young. I have a little.
It depends on how you look at it. From my perspective, you're a young guy, so let's leave it at that. But let's talk a little bit more about Devil Dog. Now, if I recall correctly, that's actually a nickname for Marines, correct?
Yes, that was given by the Marines in Bellawood for their actions against the Germans.
I know your work with the group is extensive. You provide a variety. Devil Dog provides a variety of services, I believe, but the focus is on health and mental health issues affecting veterans, suicide prevention being one. Tell us how you got involved in the group, your work, and how many people you serve annually, and your hope for the future for the organization.
Yes, so Devil Dog USA Incorporated, we started. The concept actually started in my head when I came back from leaving service back in 2011. Even though my background in the military was administrative, I had everything planned out on how I was going to get my life started after the military. Job lined up, school, everything that you could possibly think of. What the problem was, when I did get out, I didn't know about the cracks that was in there. For example, just to be simple and quick, school starts generally in late January or February. I got out in November, and I had to wait 2 or 3 months before I could get into school and begin getting the GI Bill to help me. And in that time period, nobody wants to hire somebody who can only work for 3 months, or the paperwork alone for, let's say, unemployment would take months, a few months to kick in as well. So all those things right there, putting me in financial instability at the point, really messed up the one thing after the other, finding an apartment, et cetera, receiving services, et cetera, et cetera. And
how many? The group is national, right?
Well, we have liaisons across the country, from Hawaii to South Carolina, Florida, Pennsylvania, et cetera. But our main headquarters is in the Bronx, where we've been stable for 11 years. We opened our second office in the beginning of this year, and I'm proud to say that we have been, we've been operational without any federal, state, or city funding. We've done it primarily on donations and sponsorship from the community, and that's something that a lot of people cannot say, which I'm very proud of.
You should be proud of that. I understand a lot of not-for-profits want government money, but government money comes with a lot of strings. And in your particular area here, you know probably a lot more than the people out that would come out of government attaching those strings to what you need to do. I'm sure you're. I know. I mean, your group is well known in the city, and I know you guys do fantastic work. And I appreciate the fact you're involved with the party, but the work you do alone with the veterans would make you a star in my world, no matter what. Anyways, to be honest with you. So let me, if you don't mind, let me switch over to the party for a bit. And I know at one point, actually, I think for a number of years, you were in the Democratic Party, but you left the Democratic Party and you ended up becoming the vice chairman of the Bronx Conservative Party. Uh, I know you also brought other active people into the party. I'm aware that you register a lot of people to vote, but you've brought active people into the party, which is not an easy thing to do. What was your rationale for leaving the Democratic Party and joining the Conservative Party? And how do you feel the conservative? I mean, how do you feel that, what the Conservative Party can offer to minority voters, and how we go about it, and the role you feel you're playing in that, if you don't mind?
That's no problem at all. So, just to be transparent with the people, I was a Democrat since the age of 18. So, for a good part of my adult life, I generally didn't vote or understand and I joined the military right after I turned 18. So, I wasn't active within my community in politics for until I got back home, and for that time period, for me, Democrats and Republicans were, basically the same thing at the time. I really didn't pay too much attention. Growing up, I was told that, Democrats are for the poor and Republicans are for the rich. That was my mindset. I kept it at that until I came back home. And then when I came back home, I saw the way it was, how my whole perspective changed. Starting a nonprofit and trying to work with the community members, elected officials, trying to get into politics, and I could see how the Democratic Party was so had a tight grip on the local politics in the area, and control of many of the things. I'm not trying to be negative, but television and funding and all this other stuff. And then to sway into politics. How did it get into politics? And this is a good story that I would love to share right now. As a nonprofit, you can't be political, but there was a situation where a Democratic politician, had threatened a nursing home on being able to hold um, a political forum against them, or just a political form in general. And at that time, I was like, look, we're giving our space and availability for you guys to hold it in our office, and nobody's going to tell a bunch of combat veterans what they can and cannot do. So that right there was the beginning of my mindset into politics, outside of the nonprofit world and personal. Then after that, the reason I joined the Conservative Party in a year and a half ago was because the Democratic Party kept on kicking me off the ballot. They did everything possible, even to the last extent. They would even challenge my binding for my petitions. It got so ridiculous to that point. And that's what they fear, I believe. They fear legitimate challengers, people that can go against them. And I went to the different parties, and with open arms tried to get communications. But the Conservative Party is the only one that came up to me and answered back. And not only that, but had something important, was ballot access. So you mesh those two things together. The Bronx Conservative Party welcomed me, but the state Conservative Party gave me a home. In that time frame, speaking with Patrick McManus, the chairman for the Bronx Conservative Party, the same ideologies that I have in my personal are fit perfectly with the Conservative Party. Belief in a higher power, patriotism, fiscal responsibilities, etc. And those will gravitate towards me. So me joining while I was petitioning for city council last year, election cycle, I started speaking to individuals regarding those same principles, nothing different. And when you say, let's say specifically for the Hispanic population from their countries, when they come and they migrate here, they still have those same mindsets. It's just when they come into the city, let's say specifically the Bronx, they're being handed everything to them by one particular party, and they just that facade now just covers up, a lot of the reasons why they need to be, I don't want to say re-educated, but be told what, they have to be seen. They need to see individuals like myself, community leaders, out there, presenting for the party. And that's what I've been preaching, since last year. Local government, the party itself, the Conservative Party, and the ability to fight back the status quo that we're facing. The borough, the city is in turmoil, the country in some parts as well. And giving them the ability to fight back has been basically my window of opportunity to get them to come over. In the beginning of last year, it was more to try to get more individuals to come to be active within the party, and then this year was to get them to be individuals to run for office. And at the same time, this year has been to increase our numbers in the county level. Last county committee level.
Well, let's talk about that for a moment, because you've registered in the Bronx and to some degree in Manhattan. Over 200 individuals into the Conservative Party in the past 9 months. And I've had conversations with you about this because I was interested. Many of them are Hispanic. I was interested in a better understanding of individuals who were joining the party, understood what the party was about, and I know you're articulate in explaining what the party's about. Plus, you like to explain to people what the party's about. So these individuals were joining the party comfortably, as I would say. I mean, you've set up tables at events all over the boroughs. Uh, you have other people that you have brought in that have registered hundreds of people on their own. There's been a 15% increase in the enrollment of the Conservative Party in the Bronx. There's been a 15% increase in the vote. I mean, just tell us more about this whole enrollment. Scheme or activity you've created that has helped the party so much.
Well, I'm sure the opposition will see it as a scheme, because we're taking away from them. A lot of the individuals that have came into our party recently are Democrats, that are frustrated with the way the system is, and they're looking for a more better representation. And I'm not doing anything where I have pencils or book bags. I'm not doing anything with freebies. I'm just setting up a table with a banner and pamphlets and other individuals, district leaders in every district, and stopping by and talking with them, because those district leaders are community advocates. They're nonprofit leaders in their own right, and etc. So now I'm standing there with them. They're seeing their leader there, and they're asking, "Well, why are you joined?" And then as I do articulate, why they should, how they register, why they should register, and the principles of registering. So everybody that's come into let's say, um, my scope has gotten that. So I feel comfortable knowing that these individuals are going to be here for the long run, and that's proven because, once again, the party has increased by 15%. Our voter registry, our voting percentage has also increased, and I'm looking forward to see that this election cycle as well. And once again, us being put in front of these individuals is the most important thing. Being able to talk to the community members, so that they know there's another party. Some people may not know that there is a Conservative Party, because an official state Conservative Party is only in New York. It's not across the country as well.
Right. Well, let me ask you. I mean, you're a strong Donald Trump supporter. I mean, you guys helped actually organize a debate watch party in the South Bronx, which I know President Trump knew was occurring, because he actually texted me on it, indicating, asking me how it went. You were at the Bronx Trump rally. Um, President Trump, President Trump, I know, appreciates the support of the work you do and what the Bronx Group is doing. So, give us, if you don't mind, a little bit some of the reasons why you're supporting President Trump.
Well, for transparency as well, when I started 2 years ago, I wasn't the biggest Trump supporter, and now my name is attached to it in many different venues. which I'm honored for that to even be there. I know, and directly, I am truly honored that the other side, the opposition, have tried to use that smear campaigns for me trying to be a Trump supporter. When I came into the party a few months after becoming the vice chairman, or excuse me, a few weeks after becoming the vice chairman, one of my duties was to put in the meeting for Donald Trump endorsement for the Bronx County. Um, so I put in the meeting together. I helped with the voting process. I helped with the endorsement letter to the state party. I helped with the press release for for our voice in the community for Trump. And then since then, what I did was I went around and spoke to individuals on saying why were they voting for Trump, and I did 15 articles regarding that. Now there were people that were against Trump and for Biden, but none of them spoke or wanted to go on the record on why they were supporting somebody like him. And obviously, the Democratic Party in itself got rid of Biden shortly afterwards. And then after that, I actually wrote a letter to Trump, an official letter in the paper, inviting him to the Bronx. Now, I once again, I had no participation in bringing him in, but I like to think that I manifested that into reality. And then since then, um, having those individuals seeing the reaction to Trump, seeing Trump come 2 blocks from my district, from where I live, having a former president and soon to be president in my district area, and it's listening to speak on a full conversation, whereas most of the media cuts off a lot of the things that he says. It swayed me to that perspective. I've done as much as I can up to this point to be and help, President Trump as much as I can, and besides voting for him, I've done everything else possible. So I'm looking forward to helping not only the party, but in any way that I can to bring more sway for Trump. And I believe that the leader that he is what we need at the current moment. His tactfulness in the military, his business curriculum, and everything that he represents as an individual, as also as a New Yorker, for us to change the dynamics of what's going on with the country.
Well, let me thank you, thank you. It's just for our audience. Let me just mention that. It's also, I know most of our audience, if not all, are Trump supporters, but it's important you vote on the conservative party line. State law requires for the party to stay legal, as they call it, organized. You have to get X amount of votes in presidential and X amount of votes in gubernatorial years. Presidential years, we have to get approximately 185,000 votes. For what it's worth, I mean, President Trump gets 300,000 votes in past elections on our own line. So I feel we'll be okay, but I think it's important that the audience knows that a vote on the conservative party line, it's not just a vote for a good candidate. It plays a role in keeping the party strong, identifiable, and it helps us out in ways like that. So consider when you vote for President Trump, casting it on our row C or column C. Now, Gonzalo, you're a candidate for Congress. How's the campaign going?
Well, the campaign is going good. We this particular year, I
Tell
have.
our audience what district it is and all that. Just give them a little bit. I apologize. Give them a little bit of a background.
So I'm representing District 15, Congressional District 15. It's from the bottom of Riverdale down to Little Italy in the Bronx, all the way to the right, just touching the Huts Point area. So it covers a large section.
That's Congressman what, Serrano?
Richie Torres.
Torres. I apologize, Torres. I'm sorry.
And going against somebody like him, who's completely funded by the IPAC, coming in with a $9 million budget at the moment. It's a David and Goliath thing that's being pushed out right now. But I'm confident in that we're going to make a big dent in this year's election with him, because he's been so out of touch with the people, even with a lot of demographics that he's reached in. So for me, the campaign is going good. The people are behind me. I've had at least 2 public debates, which he hasn't showed up into, and I'm looking forward to having more.
How do people get in touch with the campaign if they want to help you make a donation or whatever? How do they go about it?
So all my everything starts with my website, at www.gonzaloduran, GONZALODURAN.NYC. All my social media is at Gonzalo Duran NYC as well.
Very good. Yeah, thank you, Gonzalo. Do you have any final words for our audience?
Yes, I would like to say that I know there's a lot of things going on. The presidential debate is the big honcho thing that we have to work about. But I truly believe that local government is important. You should know who is representing you. Although the president may have the voice of what's going to happen, it's the individuals in the Senate and the other chambers that have that vote. And if you are electing them, then you have nobody to blame but yourself. So make the decision. Get educated.
Well, thank you on that. Now, I really want to thank you for being on the show and being really a true champion for the Conservative Party. I mean, there's rhetoric and there's action, and actions speak louder than words, and you're all action. For our audience, I just want to, and I'm going to probably do this every opportunity I get. There's also a proposition on the ballot. It is a horrible proposition. It's called Prop One. You should be voting no on it. It allows everything from men to participate in women's sports to giving illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, government benefits by requiring it. It takes away parents' rights. Young people could end up making decisions. A 14-year-old on a transgender change without their parents being made aware. It's a threat on organized religion. It's a threat on not-for-profits because it has like a clause in it which gives the government the ability to essentially challenge a group that doesn't. And this will get challenged in court separately if it passes, but it basically allows the government to take action against groups that don't agree with them. And you should know that actually there have been bills in Albany that attempt to do the same thing through state statute. And they'll eventually get challenged, and the U.S. Constitution protects us. But why should the New York State Constitution have a change in it that could hurt us as New Yorkers in so many different ways? And people do leave New York because of its government, because of its taxes, because of its criminal justice system. They do leave New York because of that. This is an opportunity to stop one additional bad thing from happening. So vote no on Prop 1. I'd also like to thank Katie and Andrew who make these podcasts a reality. Once again, this is Patriots Podium, a regular podcast by the New York State Conservative Party. And I am State Chairman Jerry Kassar. Thank you.